Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 413 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. I'm Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and we have the full crew here this week, kicking things off with the owner of MTG Goldfish, Richard. How's it going this fine Monday, Richard?
Good morning, Seth. Good morning. We're going with Monday, right? It's Monday today.
Yeah, it's technically Monday. We may or may not have recorded this cast a little ahead of time because of the holidays, but it's Monday as far as anyone listening knows. And we got a fun topic for today that I'm excited for. But before we get into that, we got another co-host in Krim. Good morning, Krim. How are you this fine Monday, I guess?
I feel like we're time traveling with all of this. Okay, hello, hi. On this fine Monday, that is definitely a Monday.
It's definitely a Monday. No one knows. No one knows when we recorded
this.
That is
true. That's true.
As far as they're concerned, yes.
Hold up a newspaper right now. Prove it's Monday.
Come on now. Do any of us actually get newspapers anymore? Seriously, it's 2023 almost, Richard. Newspapers. So we're not living in the 50s. Come on now.
I don't even think I had one in the 90s. So
anyway, our topic for today, we're doing a holiday Fishmail bag podcast. So we did one a few months ago. Basically, the entire cast today, we put out a call for questions on Twitter and on the YouTube and the community tab, and we're going to go through as many of your Fishmail questions as possible and answer them for you today. So an entire cast dedicated to Fishmail. Before we get into it, though, a reminder that today's show is brought to you by Card Conduit. And Card Conduit, they're the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. And if you're tired of all the hassles that go into buy listing your cards, Card Conduit lets you skip them. You get to skip all the typing, all the time, all the work that goes into selling your cards. With their curated service, you can send in as many cards as you want with a buy list value of $1 or more and pay just a 5% service fee. And if you want to do a little work on your end, you can use their sorted service where you list and sort your cards ahead of time and pay just a 2% fee. And no matter which one you choose, you're going to get a detailed report with the results in a fast payment once the order is processed. And right now, you can even get another 10% off if you head over to cardconduit.com/mtggoldfish. Card Conduit, they're the easiest way to sell your Magic cards. And thank you to Card Conduit for supporting the show. And with our sponsorship stuff done, let's answer some Fishmail. Richard, why don't you take it away and guide us through some of these questions?
All right. So we sent out a big holiday mailbag tweet. If you have questions in the future, send them to #MTGFishmail, and we'll get to your questions. So we're going to start off hot and heavy. Rafi K99. What do you think the top 3 biggest problems in Magic are right now? And what do you think the 3 best things going on in Magic are?
That's a good question.
Good morning.
How about we each choose one each and combined?
Then we'll each get 3.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I got mine for biggest problem then. Organized play. I think we're realizing more and more that we need a strong organized play system for non-commander formats to thrive. We've seen Wizards asking about why is Paper Standard not doing well and all this stuff, and I think the answer is that just hasn't really existed. And I know it's coming back and it's better than nothing, but I hope that in 2023 we see more steps to strengthen that, because I think that really is hurting the game of Magic more than I realized it was going to, and maybe more than Wizards realized it was going to, when they kind of took away most of the organized play stuff. So that would be my number one biggest problem, is we need a stronger organized play system. It's just not really cutting it right now.
Right. I will go with complexity creep. We need less text on cards, and I don't mean to just start keywording everything. I mean actual conceptually, the card is like vanilla. It's like a 3-mana 5/5 and call it a day. Maybe it has lifelink. Cards are way too complicated now. It takes forever to understand any cards. Our preview videos have become full-length feature films as Seth tries to read the 6 faces of a card. We just need to make things simpler. I mean, I feel we somehow avoided it for the first 15 years of Magic. Yes, things got complicated, or more complicated, but it was manageable. But over the past couple of years, I think it's unmanageable. And I think Strixhaven Deans were the end of it for me. I don't know why we needed double-sided, 8 million ability, legendary, 2 colors, whatever. It was just too much. Just make more cards if you really need to. I don't know why a single piece of cardboard needs so many abilities.
That's actually very fair. I mean, like I played Commander with a newer player the other night, and they didn't even know there was the backside to an MDFC. So, like, yeah, they were learning.
Purpose.
Yeah, because in sleeves, right? Like, if you lend someone your deck, can they learn the game? So, but yeah, like I does it have to be with the game of Magic, or can it just be Magic as a whole?
Magic is the biggest problem with Magic.
Wait,
are you talking about like pull a rabbit out of the hat or something like that kind of magic?
No. Like, I mean, like the problems with Magic. If it's as Magic as a whole, I think I stand by it. And I'm gonna keep pushing it. There's no anime. There's no TV show. I'm not joking. Like this isn't a troll. This is not a troll. I am being 100% serious.
Like there are entire anime card games made just for you.
Yes, there are, and you know what? I want to see Magic have it too. I want to see Magic have a real TV show. They dropped it from the. They didn't even talk about it. They recently talked about like the Netflix projects and stuff like that, and Magic's nowhere on there.
Oh, okay. So you mean a literal anime, not anime art.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the TV show,
yes.
but anime
Yes.
style. I got you. That that makes more sense.
like that is a real thing, and they've completely not mentioned anything about the project at all. And I think people are like have forgotten that it exists, that there's supposed to be a project.
All right, I got a question for you, Chris. So what would you rather see? Would you rather see like a serious adult-oriented anime? Would you rather see a kids cartoon, like essentially like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon style, or would you rather see like kind of like an MCU live action like type Magic adaptation?
I think if they do a live action, they would flub that pretty hard.
Aren't they going to flub any of these pretty hard? I think, for being honest.
That's also fair. I think though it would be like an adult, like I think an adult type kind of cartoon. Maybe obviously they could go with something a little more like kid friendly, like along the lines of like Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, I mean more like Pokemon, because technically Yu-Gi-Oh is actually very dark. But America got the lighter half of the seasons. But yeah, like I would say something a little more like Castlevania. So something along those lines would be pretty cool. And I think that it's not being taken seriously, but it probably helps with the show. I mean, I mentioned it before, but like Cyberpunk Edge Runners brought a lot of players back to Cyberpunk. And Arcane obviously now is just like showing that people want more of just the world of League of Legends. So like, yeah, I am, especially when you have all those other Netflix shows. I don't expect the Netflix show and anything Magic related to do as well as Arcane. But I think it is very, very much so needed.
It would be so easy too. Just take a beloved Magic novel, like the War of the Spark novel, recreate it word for word.
Not that one. Anyone but that. Give me anyone but that.
Oh, yeah, I can resist.
I actually think a music video might be easier. So like that's the hot new thing. Did you see the new Snap music video, Krim?
I did.
League of Legends does this, right? They make music videos that sell their latest cosmetics, and then their music videos become like legit K-pop songs and are like real songs. And then Marvel Snap started doing it. And Wizards has done shorts before, right? Like the Eldraine, like little animation.
You have Kamigawa, thing. Literally Neon Dynasty.
Don't they do music videos? They're just like not as appealing as the ones other games do. Like, don't they have whole albums that are like created for each set now, and like it just hasn't really caught on or blown up? Yeah, if you go to Spotify, there's like Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the album or whatever. Yeah, and you can find videos for it. Like
I remember the anime.
Yeah, it is a thing. It's just unfortunately you've never heard of it, which means many other people
can't
probably
get a
never heard of it.
3-minute piece of art to work. It's going to be harder to make an entire TV series to work or a movie. So I think we got to nail the music video first to sell whatever
work up to it.
Latest skins or whatever we have, right? Whatever Star Galaxy foils or whatever oil ray slicks, whatever,
30th
right?
anniversary edition, the music video.
Featuring Post Malone. We got it. We got it.
What about the positive side? What are the three best things going in Magic at the moment? All right,
You know-
I'll oh, you got one? Okay.
Yeah.
This better not be anime art on cards, Krim, or you're fired.
Okay. Well, I will say though, like over the years, Magic has gotten a little wilder with its art, thanks to Secret Layers and stuff like that. Universes Beyond. Some of the art directly translates, like let's just say like Warhammer. That just easily slots right into Magic. But I will say, I'm talking about the weird art. It's like we're talking like the cereal box ones. Like I'm talking about all of those. I think those are some of the more interesting and cool things for the game, especially when like one of the things that got me into the game as a kid was how cool the art was. So
that's a good choice. I would agree. I think mine would be the Gathering coming back. There's been so much hype for like even Vegas, despite some of the issues there were, like upcoming events. People are just really excited to get together and like see each other after the long pandemic. So I think that's my takeaway from 2022. The best thing going on is Magic is the return of people actually being able to get together and like play Magic and catch up and see each other again.
Seth, you stole mine.
Did I steal you?
I was gonna say like F&M and like WPN events. Like you can move to a brand new city, right? You can just search up WPN website, find a local game store, and then Friday night go play Magic, and then meet a bunch of like-minded people. I think that's very powerful, right? Like I think that lets you connect with a lot of people. And then there's the online community, and then also Twitch and all that, right? But okay, so since Seth stole mine, I'm gonna go with Limited. I think Limited has flown under the radar for so many years. We've had so many great back-to-back sets of Limited, and nobody's talking about it because if you think 60 card formats are dead, then I think 40 card formats have disappeared. But like we have had so many great Limited formats, and no one says anything about them, and I'm not sure why. Is it because we all begrudgingly draft just to build our arena collections to play Standard? Or what it is,
yes.
But or maybe it's the set boosters. Like no one before you bought a draft booster, you're like, well, I got to draft this. But now you buy set boosters and you're like, whatever. But Limited has been really good, and Wizards has been consistently pumping out really good Limited environments, and they don't get enough credit for it. No one talks about it. No one plays it. Maybe because they cut it from Pro Tours or something. I don't know. But Limited somehow disappeared, but it's been the best it's ever been.
It's another good one. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year with some of these things. What we're talking about then.
Oh, can I throw one more thing in?
All right, positive or negative?
Like it's positive. It's positive.
Okay.
Grixis is tier 1.
Oh God,
that's a negative. That's that.
Hold on.
I would say
this is like tier 1. Rakdos is tier 1. Chris.
No. It's blue like splashing red.
I would say the same thing, but as a negative, honestly.
What? You can play your same Rakdos deck in Standard, Pioneer, Modern. Yeah, like every format. It's fine.
Give them some initiative
that's
cards
true.
and they'll be good in Legacy.
But come on. I mean, you know how long it's been? Like, when was the last time Grixis was good in Standard, right? Like, so...
What was the last time Grixis was good in Standard?
It's been a long time. And I mean, not when I force Grixis to be, like, played. I mean, like, legitimately, it's good.
It's always hard to tell because I have to publish all your videos. So whether Grixis is good or not, it always seems like it must be good to me because there's like 3 of them every set. Yeah, so I just always assume it's good. But yeah,
that's the trick. Anyone that agrees with this, the trick's on you. It's always been good. Get out of here. What are you talking about?
All right. Next question. Untap NL. Over under amount of Modern players 3 months after Lord of the Rings set versus now. The set might breathe new life into the format, but it might put people off. So Lord of the Rings, more Modern players or less Modern players?
I Oh boy, that's so tough. I'm gonna go more. I think more. I think Modern Horizon has brought more people in, even though I also know it's made some people quit. I'm more concerned about just the power level than the than the actual IP. Like, if it's another Modern Horizon set that's another like forced rotation, that would be the thing I think that would drive people away. If people are like, I gotta buy all these new staples now and it's just too expensive to keep up with, like they're doing this again, that would be the downside. But I don't think it being Lord of the Rings itself is going to have a meaningful impact. Like, we got rats on motorcycles. Come on now, people. Like, you're not going to leave because Gandalf is in Magic. I just don't believe it.
But what about Gandalf on a motorcycle?
Okay.
And that offends everybody at once, right? The Lord of the Rings player
Lord of the
and
Rings
Magic
fan are
players.
probably going to be really mad about that, yeah.
Maybe if that's how we finally like Lord of the Rings, Seth.
Yeah, that would make me actually watch. If Gandalf was just running around a Harley, like cruising, yeah, I would be down for that version.
Please don't be
Get on
upset.
that Amazon. You got the budget. You can make it happen.
I mean, whether like for the latter part, I mean, I think it'll be probably just about the same. I don't think this grows. Like, it might, because like Lord of the Rings won't grow Modern. Lord of the Rings set will grow Commander. It'll grow everything else. But like but if you're already playing Magic and you're like, oh, I'm gonna leave the game if yada yada yada. But what you really should just look at this as is just Modern Horizons 3. Because there ain't no way that they're making a Lord of the Rings set that has to be good in Modern, and they're just going to drop some terrible cards in there. They have to make the power level very much so played. So whether or not that's a good thing, you know, we could have Ragavan 3, right? Like whatever is there. We can have Ren 6, like the sequel, like actually good. And so yeah, like I think that it'll just be Modern Horizons 3, just under the skin of Lord of the Rings.
Ren and Schmeagol.
Yeah, Ren and Schmeagol is Ren in the Shire, like, you know what I mean? Like, sure.
Oh, I'm waiting for some Shire like dual land or something that's like just power creeps the land base. But I think Kim is right.
Lands?
It's Modern Horizons 3, and because it's Modern Horizons 3, I think it will get people to come play Modern, and I think we will have a soft rotation, and my guess is there will be bannings, or at least calls for bannings. Like there's gonna be a Hogak or something that slips in here by accident, right?
Bilbo Baggins is
You're like,
banned.
we made a direct to Modern set. Did you test for Modern? Nah.
No.
We tested for Commander, guys.
But Bilbo.
But yeah.
Think they're allowed to ban Lord of the Rings cards? I wonder if it's like a contract.
Ooh. You think they have to like soft ban all the pieces around it for like a year and then come back and finally ban it?
It would be a bad look, I think, if you're trying to do IP crossovers and you just like make the cards illegal. Or maybe it's a like a prestige thing, like, oh my whatever, Gandalf was so powerful it got banned in Magic the Gathering. Maybe it's a good thing.
No. Okay, the best case is they only ban a card. The worst case is they ban an entire mechanic after trying to fix it, like Companion.
Oh no.
Can you imagine if like the Chase Lord of the Rings mechanic was like too OP, they had to ban it?
Oh yeah, we cannot stand another companion. Another companion level mistake would be really bad for Modern.
I mean, there ain't like
are companions
what
any
about
different
Hammer Time?
from elementals or Urza or whatever? It just shakes up the whole format, right?
Yeah. At least you don't see yours every game.
There's no way that the hobbits don't do something with finding an artifact.
Ooh.
Like so it would there's probably going to be a new Stoneforge that's even better or something like that, or a power creep version that'll make Hammer Time even better.
I will say I'm not convinced this is Modern Horizons 3. Like I'm not sure that that's what it is, or if they like made a Commander set and they were like, oh, if we just say this is Modern legal, it'll sell even more because then Modern players will have to care about it. So I'm still on the fence as to whether this is like intentionally designed to be a Modern Horizons that shakes up Modern, or if they just like incidentally are making it legal in Modern.
Let me point you to
down,
Initiative
Seth.
Stompy and Vintage.
You're
and
scaring
Legacy
the
sets.
Legacy and Vintage players right now.
Oh, it's just multiplayer mechanics, guys. Don't worry about it. It just happens to be legal in your format. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe it's worse if they're not trying to design for Modern, actually, now that I think of it.
At least they will try to play test if they design for Modern, as opposed to like, this clearly is not viable in single player. It's fine.
Legacy and vintage players shake when they hear designed for Commander. No.
All right. Rian Lee 5677. If you won the lottery, $1 billion, would you still be doing Goldfish content? All right, be honest, guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think I would still make Magic content, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I really enjoy playing Magic. If you have $1 billion, you're going to need to fill your time with something. Why not making
Easy.
Magic content?
On top of that, you actually what would happen is not only would I be doing Goldfish content, I would try to do wilder things. Like there was recently a chess and boxing event where they play around. Ludwig puts it on, and so you box and then you play chess, and then every round alternates.
Okay.
And it was actually really funny. It was a lot of fun to watch. Or to read about like some of the things. I didn't watch all of the things, but I definitely caught up on it. And imagine every Magic content creator or player having to box and then play chess, or box and then play Magic, right? Like,
that would be the best GP. Oh, could you know how entertaining that would be to watch on Twitch if you did a GP that way? Like one round's Magic, the next round's boxing.
Best of 5, 1 round boxing, 1 round.
This is 2022. It's 1 round MMA. Okay.
Oh, right. What about you, Richard? Would you still be doing Goldfish if you had unlimited money?
If we had unlimited money, I think we would pivot to a channel that just opened 30th anniversary boosters.
I swear you're
We
gonna
would take that $1 billion and convert it to millions of dollars, guys. We can do it.
Oh, I thought for sure one of you were going to say you'd play Snap instead, but dodge that
I already
bullet.
play Snapchat. I don't need $1 billion to play that. It's a very free-to-play friendly game. Okay. Elias48 is let people like things complaint valid if WotC's focuses on Commander comes to detriment of other formats. Can you imagine being a Legacy player and having to absorb all that crap? So, the focus on Commander, if it comes at the expense of your favorite format, is it actually okay?
I mean, again, like, is that not just the same as a brand new set is just like busted? Like Eldraine just ruined every format?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Although, like, I think of the OP thing. Like, when they, like, canceled OP to focus on Commander, I don't think you had to do that. And I think the complaints from, like, people who are competitive players are legitimate in that case. Like, if you're going to flaunt your $1 billion a year first brand ever to do that at Hasbro or whatever, like, it's really, really hard to be like, oh, we have to, like, cut this pro tour that give people $20,000 to, like, make Commander better or something. So I think there is some legitimacy to it. At the same time, I think people also, like, freak out more than necessary about some of these things. That's kind of the Magic community way. So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. But I do think, especially with the OP stuff, that I think it's fair for people to be like, well, I mean, did you really have to cut all the pro tours so you could make more Commander sets? Because they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I think the Commander stuff hurts 60 card formats. And that's just the way it is because it's not as popular. But like the OP stuff, the like all the cool stuff is in set boosters instead of draft boosters. And then the set boosters have all these Commander cards. So you're like, what if I wanted to play Standard and have like some promos? Like there's no product for you actually. And then like Secret Layers, you're like, what if I want to bling out Standard Rakdos mid-range? Like good luck because all the Secret Layers are Commander. So I can see that happening if you are a 60 card player. Can you do anything about it? I don't know what you're gonna do about it. I think Legacy players have it worse because they have to take all these like random mechanics they don't want. Like people don't want initiative. And I read a bit about initiative and like I think they have a valid complaint, right? It's a mechanic not tested for in a 1v1 environment and it's insanely broken in 1v1. So it may be balanced, but overall, like just having to deal with non-tested things being thrown into your format all the time could be a drag. So So yeah, I don't know what you could do other than just accept that's the way it is.
While we're in the topic, there's a couple of questions further down that kind of just piggyback on this. There's one from Hash Assassin that says, is Commander killing competitive MTG? And also Baja Blast Freeze, do you think 60 card formats will ever be top dog again, or will Commander be the future of Magic with more Commander focused releases and card designs? What do you think about that? Like, is this current popularity of Commander killing 60 card formats, and is this the future, or do you think things will shift again at some point towards 60 card formats?
Yes and yes. Only because, yes, it is hurting 60 card formats. Yes, Commander is the future, though, of what Magic is. I mean, like, we've had a very good standard. We've had a solid time there. And that it's not like that has rocketed, 60 card formats back up to the top. Pioneer was pretty solid for a while until everything was Nykthos and Rakdos, right? But like for a while, and that didn't rocket 60 cards back up either. So I think the future is definitely Commander. Especially it's the most self-expressive format, the one that also doesn't make it so that I have to care about what's current. I can just get in, play a Commander deck, and just still have it be fun.
Oh, interesting. Because I was wondering if Commander's a fad. So
Tiny Leaders
Magic's
2.0.
been around it could be like Magic's been around for 30 years on the back of 1v1 60 competitive, right? And because you're a competitive player, you were super invested in the game. You were invested in learning about the game. You were invested in buying all the latest cards to keep up in power level. Now that we've gone casual, casual, there's like no incentive to keep up on anything. Like, you're casual, right? Like, you don't need to keep up on the news. You don't need to buy the latest cards. Your deck still works. You're just not as invested. So I wonder if, yes, there are more players, but your players like care less, and therefore their attention will waver and go to whatever next shiny thing there is. So I'm curious if Commander's a fad or not. And the power creep in Commander, I think, is certainly not helping things. I think the honeymoon phase of Commander is gone. I feel Commander like a couple of years ago was much more fun than it is today, even though today it's much bigger. But the power creep, I think, is a problem, because now you can't play your favorite pet cards, you're just gonna get steamrolled. You need to play answers. You gotta play lots of answers. So your deck is like 99% answers, and then you're not playing the thing you want to play anymore. So I'm actually curious how this plays out. Wizards is going all in on Commander, but I don't know if it's a fad or if it's gonna be forever.
I'm on the other side of Grim. I think that there will be a time when 60 card formats come back. Not that the Commander is going to go away. I think Commander will always be a part of Magic, but I don't think any of us would have predicted the rise of Commander 5 years ago or whenever it was. So I think it's just, I don't know. Magic's been around so long, as Richard said. 1v1 formats have been important for so long. It's hard for me to imagine that something doesn't change again in the future. Maybe there's a brand new format. Maybe it's old formats coming back. I think Wizards is also going to realize, it kind of reminds me of Arena. Remember when they launched Arena and there were so many people from other games that came in and were like, thought it might be the next big thing, and they started playing Arena and streaming Arena and all this content from Arena, and then like a year later when it became apparent that, oh, this isn't like the next League of Legends or whatever, pretty much all those people just moved on to other games and stopped doing any Magic stuff. I could see Commander kind of being the same way, where it's the hot thing now where everyone's getting into it, but with the power creep and with Wizards maybe over designing for it, maybe that changes in the future. And some of the very casual players who are intrigued by Commander now, maybe they don't go to 60 card formats, but maybe they go on to some other game that's even more appealing, or does Commander even better than Magic does Commander, that doesn't have Mana Screw or whatever. Like, who knows? Maybe there's something like that comes up. I also want to say, I don't think that Commander is killing competitive MTG. I think that Wizards' choices are killing competitive MTG. Like, Commander and competitive Magic can coexist. There's no reason that they can't coexist. It's Wizards' decision to not support competitive Magic that's killing it, not Commander existing. Like, they don't need to be at odds with each other.
But so like Krim said, we've had like the best standard that there's ever been, right? And Arena is theoretically the best client we've ever had for playing 1v1. Like, what more do we need to resurrect 1v1?
I mean, so people play on Arena. It's not like no one's playing 1v1 formats. During that call, the fireside chat, they said there's 10 million like active accounts, I believe they said, on Arena, and Standard is by far the most popular way to play Arena. So that's a lot. That's millions of people who are playing Standard on Magic Arena. So it's not like it doesn't exist. I think what's missing is like the paper aspect, and I think that's because there's just no incentive. Like, why would you spend $500 on a paper Standard deck when there's no qualifiers and no anything? Like, what are you going to do? Even local game stores might not be supporting it anymore because there's no qualifiers for them to be running. So why would you spend that on a paper deck when you could buy a commander deck or buy 10 budget commander decks and play them for the next 10 years? Like, I think I bring it all back to OP. Like, I think that's the missing piece of this.
It's not commander that killed competitive. It's Arena that killed competitive, right?
Yeah.
Like, why buy a deck when you can just play it on Arena and grind all day on Arena and then call it a day, right?
And then even play your qualifier online.
And then competitive on Arena just kind of flopped. Like, we saw that with the MPL, where they went really hard to try to make like Arena be an esport, and it just, for whatever reason, it didn't come to fruition there. So yeah, maybe Arena is also. I think Arena is at least part of it, but I don't know.
Top 3 esports, Seth.
Oh yeah, the good old days.
Okay, speaking of migrations, Jakob 362. Any thoughts on Flesh and Blood? Have you guys played Flesh and Blood since the Flesh and Blood hype and controversies?
I played a little bit of the starter deck, just like a starter deck battle. And it's got some fun elements there, but nothing that stands out to me. So far, maybe that's just because like the starter deck I played wasn't. It's not meant to be like oh my gosh, high flying, action packed or whatever. And it was just mostly a tutorial game, so it just felt okay. Nothing made it stand out to me more than just anything else. I mean, there is a game I want to try right now, and I'll probably despise, and it's the One Piece card game. But
I've been hearing about that's catching on in some places.
Wait.
I don't like One Piece.
About this One Piece card game?
I don't know what One Piece is, but I know there's a game about it.
It's an anime. It's an
anime.
Yeah. Like legitimately though, like I haven't watched it like enough to like say I'm even a fan of One Piece. So going into it like just as a fan of card games, I mean, It looks like it could have something, but like most anime card games,
or is it paper?
It's paper. The problem is there's been like 15 reskins of anime card games, right? And they always like end up flopping. But this one, I hope they actually sink support into it. And just like that, Flesh and Blood. I mean, we'll wait. I have to probably play a little bit more than a starter deck to get a better feel for the game, but. I do think that the game has some fun parts to it, and has an interesting way of like solving like the resource system.
I would like to try Fresh and Blood, but I always play online. That's the sticking point for me. Like, I don't really have a way to go play it in paper, and it seems like Flesh and Blood is not interested in doing the online thing. They're really big on being like an in-person, face-to-face card game. So I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to play it. If there was a way to try it online or on mobile or whatever, I definitely would have already tried it by now because I'm interested in it. I've heard good things. But the paper-only part is just a big sticking point for me.
Yeah, I can't play paper. It's too much work. You gotta like buy things. Like you gotta hit me with the free to play. Yeah. You gotta give me the free to play, suck me in to take all my money. Like you cannot convince me to upfront buy a deck of a game like I don't know and then go somewhere and then try to play. Like that's too old school for me. I can't do it.
New Fishmail question. How much have you spent on Marvel Snap? Did they suck you in and take all your money, or are you still mostly free to play?
I buy one battle pass it comes out every month. So I spent $20.
Oh, that's
$20 so far.
Oh,
yeah, it's $10 a battle pass.
Oh, that's
it's $10 a battle pass.
Oh, that's
I'm also right there with Richard. I've spent $10 about every month for a battle pass. They've tempted me. They've definitely tempted me to get more. They've gotten close. Specifically with the 90s X-Men, Gambit and Rogue portraits and whatnot.
That one? Ooh, I don't like that one.
I liked it, but it's $30 for like 1,500 credits and like a portrait or two, right? And that's like a $10 purchase. I'm not giving you $30 for that. And then the Apocalypse bundle, I would only buy it for the little collector's tokens, but that's $80. So, they're getting a bit ambitious on what they're trying to charge in the store. But I hold the line. I'll let you know when I break.
All right, this is a perfect transition to the Red Army. What decks are you guys playing in Marvel Snap? I recently unlocked Death from the collector token shop and started playing a destroy list that I was going fairly good with yesterday.
I need Death. She's so good. But I am playing a move deck. I love my move deck too much to not play, and I did also just recently finally get a few of the pieces to play a relatively good discard deck.
Ooh, Krim is married to Doctor Strange there.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I know about this move deck.
Yo.
So the season reset, I played a Silver Surfer deck. That was really good until I hit Infinite. And then once I hit Infinite, I just play like random garbage for like the rest of the month. But I always play Control. Control is always, if I need to win games and like need to like try hard it, I always play Control. And currently my favorite Control deck is a Leader Control deck.
Ooh, Leader's so good.
Leader's pretty good. But never leave home without Shang-Chi, Enchantress, and Cosmo. Like I think you need
you need
Shang-Chi
those three,
and Cosmo. And then you just big brain everyone. And then you feel good about yourself.
So I haven't played enough Snap to know all the cards y'all are talking about. How do you play Control in Snap? Because I played like the early modes and it didn't seem like I could really interact with what my opponent was doing. It was just kind of like, oh, can I make bigger numbers than you can make? Like, are there like Ravenous Chupacabras and Counterspell? Like, is there anything equivalent to Magic Control in Snap?
Yeah. So Cosmo is a card that shuts off all ETBs.
Yeah.
So you can set it up so that they can't trigger their ETBs. And if you a lot of the times, like on the last turn, people play a big bomb with like an ETB. So you can set it up to get them that way. Shang-Chi destroys a creature with power 9 or more. So you can blow up big creatures, and then Enchantress removes ongoing effects. So essentially like humilities or something. So the way I typically play Control, and then there's also Storm, which
I love Storm.
Lane.
Yeah.
So
and Professor
it gives you one
X
turn to play into that lane. So you essentially, the way I play is I close off a lane and win it. And then I counter what the opponent's doing in the other two lanes. And then you can get more exotic, like Professor X shuts down a lane as well by preventing you from playing or removing cards. But Control is like the perfect way to gain like 2 cubes at a time. Because like you lock them down, like I can't win, I quit.
The Control way.
But you do win to turn 1 island like on Arena. Is there the equivalent?
If I lock down 2 lanes, you're like, well, that's it, right? I'm out. Like you're not gonna chance it, right? So sometimes you get greedy, right? You're like, I can lock them out, but I'm not going to lock them. I'm going to let them think they're going to win. And then you let them do their thing, but then they do something you don't expect, and then you lose 8 cubes. You're like, okay.
I will admit, getting like no one expects the Cosmo out of my move deck. So I do play like elements of Control there as well, and Storm. So Storm being able to shut off a lane, that's great when you can move everything to the left. So you just have to position that.
Also, Snap is interesting because the meta changes so quickly. They just released a bunch of new cards, and then the meta is all different. And then they also released new locations, which basically, I basically cheesed my way into Infinite in like a day and a half because they had a new location, and it basically destroys both decks. And then the card in question that the Red Army mentioned, Death, reduces its cost for every card destroyed. So I just put it in my deck, even though I have no destroy synergies. It's a 0 cost 12 drop. And then for the first 24 hours, like nobody caught on. And I just like wrecked people's faces by dropping like 3 cards left and right.
What's it like getting Death? Wow. Must be nice.
It's funny because normally it's a combo. You play Death and Wave, so you can actually play them together. I didn't have Wave, so I couldn't play Death. It was sitting in my collection the whole time. And then this event came around with the new location. I'm like, oh, sweet. Now I get a free card, even though no one expects it because it has no synergies with my deck. They would never see it coming. And then you just drop it, right? So yeah, I'm still having fun with Snap. Although I think I've snapped out. I'm ready to come back to Magic.
Are you?
Until next season. Well, because the season, as soon as you hit Infinite, you're like, well, I'm done. So now you got to wait for the next season.
Yeah, there's not a lot that pushes you to continue playing the ranked ladder.
Is there
after
no
you
like
hit Infinite?
Is there no equivalent to like I'm number 1 on the arena ladder? Like once you get to the top level, you're just there.
No.
There's no like top 1,000 or anything leaderboard or anything.
So you can flex. I like streamers. Like I'm level 2. I'm ranked 200, right? Like even though it stops at 100, they just keep climbing forever. But then when the season resets, everyone goes back to the 70 or whatever. So there's no actual benefit.
I mean,
I think they're adding ways to keep playing though.
Yeah, it's still pretty early. Also, we had a question from Dubious Vision. Marvel Snap podcast and gameplay when? Well, the podcast apparently right now. We got that covered. Gameplay is that a thing? Like you guys play Snap more than me. Who's the LSV of Snap? Is there any like or Kibler? Is there some huge like Snap content creator? Is that a thing that happens now or no?
Oh,
I don't know.
Our friend Jeff Hooglin makes Snap content.
Oh, is Jeff big into
Jeff
Snap?
plays Snap. So the other thing is I tuned into Twitch the other day, and lo and behold, I found Jerry Thompson on a stream at a Marvel Snap stream with I think KMS Best or something like that. So there are Magic players. And like Jerry knew what he was like. Jerry was not just like, hey, like he knew all the cards. He's been playing since beta or whatever. So there are people. I think there are Hearthstone streamers that play. I think Life Coach played.
Yeah,
people are
Life
like,
Coach played.
He's gonna rope every turn. There's like no roping in Snap. Like, how does he get anything done? Like, so yeah, I think a lot of people actually play Snap.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into it then. Maybe I'll have to watch some Snap content and get.
I'm gonna have to ask
so
Jerry.
I can be Crim.
You know, there's no friends option. Like
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
no
dual
friends
friends.
option.
Hey, we can't say anything about that.
Yeah, I
Didn't
guess
have
that's
a friends
true.
option for like
We're
5 years.
working our
so
way there.
We're getting there.
I think we'll get spectator mode.
Okay. So let's return back to Magic. All right. Jess Botwinsta. Y'all were my top podcast for Spotify Unwrapped. What are your top 5 card arts for 2022?
Oh,
Ooh.
I only got one, but it's World Gorger Dragon from that just got spoiled from Jumpstart. Love that art. That's my favorite of the year.
Wait, what is that?
Jumpstart. You mean Dominaria remastered?
Oh, Dominaria Remastered. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Does that count? It hasn't gotten
Wait.
printed yet.
It was
What is the
preview.
wait, what was so good about this World Gorger
It's
Dragon?
It's eating a
full
globe.
art. It's a full art. It's like wrapped around the whole world. I think it's RK Post
Oh,
that did it.
Okay.
You got to get the full art one, the borderless DMR one.
I see.
But,
Okay.
I see.
I think that's my favorite of the year.
If we're doing like things that haven't fully released yet but have been previewed, I mean, top 5. Like you only have one. You don't have any others.
All right, I'll
them
think.
stuck
Give
out?
me yours, and I'll think what else I got on my list.
I mean, okay. I
Remember.
can't say no to the Stitcher Supplier anime art. That one's a banger.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to show love where it's due. And then I also really like the DJ Scarab God. Yo, DJ Scarab God is sick. Okay, it's like such a sick meme. And then on top of that, I would probably say Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, specifically the Wandering Emperor anime art, along with Katose the Silent Spider. I love those two. And okay, I feel like I'm just choosing mostly Kamigawa because I love that set so much. Because I also really like the Fist of the North Star art of Kaido. So
Ooh.
like that was the okay, but see, there's actually a lot of card art. Oh man, but I can only pick 5. Yeah, those are my 5 off the top of my head.
Oh, this one's okay. Well, Krim reminded me. So I like Balin Wandering, whatever, the
Cat
anime
girl?
version.
Yeah. Say what it
That
is.
is the anime art I can get behind.
Say what it
Junji
is,
Ito
Richard.
Solemn. Can't forget about.
I can't believe I forgot Jinji
Can't forget
Ito.
about.
Oh, are we counting secret layers? Oh, there's so
Are
many
we
good
counting
secret
actual
layer
magic
arts.
art or
Oh, okay.
secret layer arts?
Oh, there's so many. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
And then Ulamog, serial Ulamog, I actually really like, even though I have no purpose for him. Of actual magic art, do I remember anything?
I gotta shout out
Junji
both.
Ito.
Like
Junji Ito,
magic
that
native
counts.
art.
No, Junji
secret
Ito
layer.
counts. It's just any art that's come out in Magic.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Or-
it's magic art. It's magic
yeah.
art.
Oh, hold on. I also choose Junji Ito, just like with Thoughtseize. Oh, the Thoughtseize and the Elish Norn, the new one.
I would shout out both farewells. I think the pack version is sweet, and also the promo with like the little kids who I don't remember the artist's name on it, but yeah, the showcase style is like really, really good on that one too. So many good Kamigawa arts. I think if you had to pick an art set of the year, it's definitely Kamigawa. Like discounting
Kamigawa's
secret
slayed.
layers, like the Kamigawa art overall is just so good.
Wait, why have I never seen this? This alternate, the one with lots of children. What is going on?
Because we never actually play Farewell, Richard.
On?
We always just say that we're playing Farewell, but we never actually do.
We don't use
I
we
didn't
here.
even know
We
this
don't
was a
use
thing.
we. I play it every time. And March of the Otherworldly Light showcase. Those two have like Miyazaki.
Oh,
vibes.
yeah. That one's really good too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good magic art this year. As we listed all non-magic art, but my favorite was actually Transformers Megatron from screen cap from the show.
I'll have you know the Ravage and Laserbeak and Soundwave combination. They're on a basketball court, so you are actually dunking. Like Laserbeak is sitting on the hoop. So yeah, it's finally here.
All right. I think that was 5. That was close enough.
Yeah, close enough. We made it.
Jeriel Hess, we're missing 2 swords in Modern, red, green, and blue, black. What do you think they would have for abilities in Modern Horizons 3?
Well, I got bad news, which is I think they're coming to Standard. I think we're getting them in the next 2 sets. I think we're getting the rest of the swords. That's my hot take. As far as abilities, I think they're going to be disappointing. Like the Modern
The last
Horizons
few
2
have been.
swords, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get them in Standard, but they're probably watered down. Red green, like
Wait, what was the last sword we got?
Blue white, right? The
Hearth and Home. Hearth and Home.
Oh,
is
Hearth
good.
and Home.
well, that's just good in
in-
Commander because it gets a land.
Yeah.
But like it's not like a Fire and Ice or whatever.
Oh,
Like
you want one for competitive? You want one
I want to
for
construct. I want a 60
You want a
card
Yeah.
Stoneforge to
sword.
sub.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be unplayable.
Blue and black can just counter a spell and discard a card. On the your opponent will just willingly cast a spell.
When you deal
connect.
combat damage to a player, counter a spell on the stack. Okay.
Maybe. What about just like blue and black? Really simple. You draw a card. Your opponent discards a card. Would that be
That's
enough?
just better. That's just better than Feast and Famine, right? Oh, actually,
That's Fire
untapping
and
the
Ice.
lands.
It would kinda-
That's like you're just taking abilities of existing swords and put them
I-
together.
I think it would be your opponent discards a card and you exile the top card of your opponent's library.
Oh, what about?
something like that?
Oh, yeah, that could be a good thief combo color. Like,
Yeah.
your opponent exiles the top. What about your opponent exiles the top card of your library and discards a card, or exiles a card, and you can
Yeah.
cast those until the end
Yeah.
of the next turn or something. Yeah.
Or
I got
for
a
as
better
long
one
as they
for you.
remained exiled or whatever.
Until your next turn, opposition agent Narset.
Oh.
That would be hilarious to keep track of. Also, I'll have to ask if the stack is empty. I just ask if the stack is empty all the time now, no matter what.
What about red green?
Gruul?
Yeah, what does Gruul do?
Red green would have to be aggro. It would have to burn and it'd probably be really bad though. It'd probably be War and Peace was good in standard.
That was a
when
lot
it
of
played.
damage, yeah.
Yeah, and it healed, so that was pretty solid. I think red and green would probably be something along the lines of either a burn and then fight.
I really want land destruction. I want blow up target non-basic land and blow up target artifact and enchantment or something.
Whoa.
Wait, what about Stone Rain and fight?
Ooh, Stone Rain fight would be interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder-
that.
Could you fight with a sworded creature, or would you have to fight with another creature? Okay. Oh, that would be really strong.
That's so broken.
But
Stoneforge Stone Rain deck? Oh, I'm ready.
yeah. That's not coming to standard. I mean, it would also be kind of like sad that if this came to standard right after Kaldheim and all like the artifact equipment stuff rotated would feel kind of bad. But yeah, like
although we did just get like Jor Kadeen again or whatever, which cares about equipment. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, and Danitha.
Maybe they're gonna rebuild the equipment archetype.
All right. Graham Fleming. Magic has more formats than ever. With things like Initiative breaking Legacy, do you think there will be a need in the near future to dissolve any formats? If so, which ones get the axe?
So dissolve from like Wizards' perspective, from Wizards' perspective, I would argue like Legacy and Vintage have kind of already been dissolved.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, aren't those already axed?
They still keep going because the community loves them and plays them, but I think the Initiative thing shows that Wizards doesn't actually like take those formats into heavy consideration when they're printing cards, and they don't run tournaments for them really anymore. It's more not often, at least. So I would say they're already more or less dissolved. So outside of that, I don't think so. I think the game is big enough to support a lot of formats now.
I think Frontier will go.
Maybe 1v1 Commander. Is that still a thing?
Tiny leaders.
Oh, Brawl, non-historic Brawl. I would not be surprised if that got deleted from Arena, if that counts. I think everyone just plays historic Brawl now. Like the standard version, no one plays that.
That's weird because you would think they would try to make standard Brawl good. They wanted to rotate. And
they want
to buy the latest pack. But I guess since set boosters just contain random cards now, I guess I might as well just play Historic Brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the list.
Poketech, what would you add to the game if you could?
Add to the game? Like anything?
Anything. You can even choose more anime art.
Oh, well, hold on.
Crim saying.
Okay, outside of the more anime art, I actually think I would add more ways. Let me think. I gotta think about that one on this for a second.
What about another color? Can we do another color? Is that a bad idea?
All the colors are the same already.
Yeah.
We have colorless. That's a color.
It's technically not.
More proxies?
All right, I got one. On Arena, I would like them to add a lot more art. Like, every card has like 8 art versions, and I want them to not tie it to paper because in paper you can only release it with every secret layer, right? But art is essentially free, right? You like pay an artist to make art.
They gotta pay someone,
right?
But
yeah, but then you sell it for like $5 or $10 a pop, like forever.
Don't they
Snap
do that?
does a good job of this. They have like 4 or 5 arts for like every card. And so for every like standard staple or whatever on Arena, they should have 4 or 5 variants that are like super, super unique and different, like secret layer type arts, and not be tied to paper in any way. And
I don't even think all
people.
the existing paper versions come to Arena, which is kind of disappointing. Like I don't think they all make it there, so they don't even fully embrace the art that they already are paying someone to make and getting that on Arena. That is a good one. Spectator mode. Add that to the game, please.
wait, do we still have a spectator mode?
Yeah,
no,
we still
you're right. We don't. That's what. Oh my god.
I think the last thing I'd want to probably try to add to the game would probably be because I feel like that would cheapen like Ultimates of Planeswalkers if you could interact with an emblem.
Oh, I still kind of want that.
But interacting with an emblem, like after you spent all these turns, like, you know what I mean? Like as a win condition, like getting these emblems out there, like I think it should essentially just win the game, right? And be uninteractable. So yeah, maybe not that. However, maybe, that's hard. I actually do not know what I would add to the game right now. I do not know what I would add to the game.
I know what I would add to the game itself: snapping.
Oh,
Like the
so you want
ability
Bring
anti.
back ante. Yeah, bring back.
Yeah, you want
ante.
anti.
you need to wager and like express skill besides your deck. And I think snapping does. And so for people that don't know, this is the Marvel Snap podcast now, but in Snap, when you start a game, you wager 1 cube, okay? And cubes are your currency for climbing. So as you get more cubes, you gain ranks. And at any time, someone can snap, and that doubles the cubes at risk. So if you snap, it goes to 2, and then on the final turn, it doubles again. So in total, if everyone snaps and you make it to the last turn, the game is worth 8 times as much as the first turn. And what this does is if you think you're going to win, you can get 8 times as much. And if you think you're going to lose, you're going to lose 8 times as much. So
You
it's
get
like poker where you
quick.
can go all in or you don't go all in. But it really smooths out variance. So if you have like a bad hand, you just lose 1 cube and call it a day. You don't feel bad, right? And when you have a really good hand, you can outplay your opponent. You can snap up to 8 cubes and then try to like really like 8-for-1 them in games. Like not only did you beat them in this game, you stole like 8 of their games away, right? It's a big deal. And it adds excitement, but it also like makes climbing super easy if you're better than your opponent, right? Like if you're actually better, like it expresses the skill a lot better. So I actually really like that aspect of the game. And it's like poker. How do we bring that to Magic?
I was going to say, do you think it'd work in Magic? Because one of the quirks of Snap is a game's like a minute long or something. So if you back out of it, you're not losing much. I would worry about in Magic. Could you imagine being in like game 2 of a 30-minute match or something and someone snapping? Like, it would feel so bad to be like, oh, I'm like 45% doing this game, so I guess I got to back out and waste that half hour of my life. Like, that would be my only concern is Magic just takes so long.
And you still have to play it, and it's equally weight as like any other game, right? Like, wouldn't you rather just be like, yeah, I got a bad hand, let me minimize losses and get out of here?
Arena goes the other direction. If you scoop too much, apparently they send you warnings about suspending your account. We're the opposite of snapping, apparently. Yeah, it would be interesting to have a way. It would be really cool on the ladder. I think it would make the ladder on Arena really interesting if you could jump up and down faster like that and add a little bit of like, I guess like it would be another strategy, really, another strategic layer to the game.
It lets you climb with bad decks. Like, you can take a really bad deck and just like
perfect for me.
outsnap people.
Yeah. And then you got like another bluffing aspect, right? Do you bluff with your snaps at all? Like that? That comes into it.
I never. No one like if someone snaps, you should probably just run. If they snap and you don't understand, you should probably just get out of there.
But doesn't that mean I could just like aggressively snap and bluff my way up the ladder then?
Because there are people that run away because I snap, and you will get destroyed, right? Like do you just go play poker, go all in every hand? You're like, you could, right? And then you probably get destroyed and go home pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when people like snap, right? I will then immediately snap to follow it up. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. And I've got like a handful of nothing. Like I've got 1 pair of like 3s or something. So.
Oh yeah.
The best feeling is the counter snap. So once you snap, you can't quit anymore, right? So if you have a strong hand and you snap, your opponent might just run away and just lose 1 cube. But if they snap, you snap back, and then now you're locked in for 8 cubes.
Oh, you are.
Now you're good to go.
Oh, you are. And I've definitely gotten when someone's called my bluff, but I've definitely gotten way more wins because of that.
Oh, we probably got to wrap up soon. What percentage of people run away when you snap? Like how often does a game end when you snap someone? Like rough estimate. I'm just curious. Is it like 50% of the time, or is it like a pretty small percentage of the time?
So if you snap on the last turn, a lot of people just run away.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you snap early and just go to 2 cubes, people will stay because they have a chance to quit before it goes to 4 cubes. And it also matters how high up in the ladder you are. So as you start hitting infinite, people are less likely to snap. And if they snap, you should be very concerned. Because at this point, everyone knows everything, right? Like they're all like full meta players and they know all the counters. And so you should be very concerned if someone is snapping on you. And you need to like know they have this and you can outplay it. But at the lower ranks, people snap randomly and you can get like 8 cubes like super easy. Because like they just simply don't know the cards available. Like you're like, oh, but I'm winning everywhere. How can I possibly lose? You're like, well, let me introduce you to this card.
Richard's
So
right there.
It's actually kind of interesting how the snapping changes. It's like one-upping each other, and like how well you know the meta, like the further you go.
I've definitely coasted my way to infinite though, on the back of like, oh, these are the higher ranks. We snap, we.
People run. Like I think the high ranks take the longest because you only win 1 or 2 cubes at once. People don't snap willy-nilly as
yeah.
But then the thing happens is as you get closer to infinite, it gets easier because you play people that are already infinite, and then they just do whatever they want.
Right,
So
whatever.
once you hit infinite, you can't drop below it. So then they just snap for fun. They just do whatever they want now. So they may donate you cubes if you're lucky. Okay. So that concludes the Marvel Snap podcast. Wait. I have one last question. We got to hit this question.
Yeah.
No, we can't hit this question. We're overdue. Okay. We'll save it for next Fishmail. We have one sweet question. So if you have more questions, send them to @MTGGoldfish with the hashtag MTGFishmail. And we'll get to your questions on air.
And that brings us to the end of episode 413 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. So we will be back next week with kind of one more special holiday cast. We're going to be doing our traditional year in review podcast where we go back over our spoiler predictions and see how well we actually did this year, predicting what cards would do well. So that's the plan for next week's podcast. Richard and Grim, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Card Conduit for supporting the show. And we'll be back next week to talk about whatever goes on in the world of Magic. So until then, have a lovely week, everyone, and happy holidays to all you. And this is a crew signing out.